Another week, boys, and another TWAB. This week at Bungie, we introduce our new D&I club. The TWAB must go on. We are deep into the season of Lost now. New secrets are unfolding in the Shadow Realm each week, and the plot is thickening up real nice. We don't want to spoil anything here, but make sure you are keeping up with the seasonal quests and giving Crow a hug for us. Wait, what? The hell's happening to Crow? I haven't even done the seasonal quests this week, guys. We've been busy with New World. Is Crow dying? Is he gonna die? This week, the Iron Banner rages on. In case you've missed it or haven't played this week, we increased the score target from 125 to 150 to match the base control mode. We also adjusted the mercy threshold to try and reduce the number of games that end shortly before a team reaches the score target. Let us know how these new changes feel. With Iron Banner being live this weekend, we're giving Trials the weekend off. But we wanted to give one more update on how week 3 went. Clinical Trials debrief. Last weekend was the third weekend of our ongoing test and learn. The two big changes this week were running the Trials Labs Capture Zone mode and tweaking the Flawless Pool to enable Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Here's some updates on what the data looked like in week 3. Solo win rate remained high at 27%. Solo blowout rate was 37% prior to enabling the Flawless Pool and dropped below 30% after. Wow. These are all consistent with week 2. Non-competitive matches, 5-0 and 5-1, were at 55% on Friday and Saturday and dropped to 51% on Sunday and Monday, which is very consistent overall with week 2. We saw solid sub 50-second matchmaking times all weekend, aside from early in-car matchmaking protection causing slight rise up to 75 seconds during the middle of the night in North America on Sunday and Monday. Overall, we had 667,000 players participating in laps, down 33,000 from week 2, with 220,000 players going flawless. We had 100,000 fewer matches played overall, which is roughly the same average matches per player. One data set that is particularly informative is average hours played by skill. This shows us that the mid-range of skill, aka the average Crucible player, are playing 1.5 to 2 hours more on average. Meanwhile, the average hours played at the high end of skill range has barely changed. We did find one bug with the way the pool-based matchmaking interacts with disabled pools. It collapses them down into the previous pool. Unfortunately, the setup for aiding matchmaking for the first few wins of the week causes an unintentional flawless mini pool for the first 2 wins of the card. If you went flawless and are on win 0 or win 1 of your reset passage, you preferentially match against other flawless players in the same state. Yo, we saw that. That actually happened to us. Once you get to win 2 though, this goes away. Yeah, this actually happened to us, and I felt like that first 2 games afterward was so hard. And of course, starting at 10 a.m. on Sundays, the entire passage has preferential matchmaking against other flawless players. So those of you who thought matchmaking got harder after going flawless on Friday, Saturday, even though the flawless pool wasn't on, you were right. We are planning a fix for this in the next few weeks. This weekend is off for Iron Banner, but the next few weekends will be back to standard elimination, with the flawless pool starting Sunday at 10 a.m. We know shaking it up every weekend has been a bit jarring and are looking to keep some consistency in the weeks ahead. Now, Labs talk. The first weekend of Trials Labs went well. We played a lot, read a lot of feedback, talked to our friends and clanmates, and looked at the data. Analytically, the weeks looked very similar, and matches were slightly more competitive as players grappled with the new rule set. Experientially, there are some changes we are looking at to make the mode better. So number 1, find a different way to vary the capture zone location without giving positional advantage to either side. Internally, we initially tested a single central zone, but found that it created a dull, repetitive games as it always collapsed the usable map space to the central location. The current method uses the central tiebreaker position as center and A and C positions from control during advantage rounds. We use those points to get the mode into testing quicker, but unfortunately, that had the side effect of giving one side an advantage. We like the dynamism that created when we play tested it internally, and that might be a good mechanism in a less competitive mode. But we heard you loud and clear. That significant of an advantage is too much for Trials of Osiris. We are looking at authoring additional neutral capture point locations in a few maps to support further labs this season. We may still play around with a milder advantage position to use in extreme cases depending on the map, but we want to make sure we have at least 3 neutral locations. We also want to remove the gain super energy on capture from the capture zone. This, specifically after an elimination, leads to more snowballing. These changes are going to need more work and playtesting than the changes we have been making so far. We are looking to get something ready for another run at Trials Labs Capture Zone as early as December. Alright, so it's pretty much going to be elimination, and of course we do have freelance coming. Outside of that, guys, October is Disability History Month and National Disability Employment Awareness Month. month. Bungie states that yesterday we announced our newest inclusion club, Accessibility at Bungie. Their mission is to partner with organizations within the gaming industry who are dedicated to game accessibility. This club has worked closely with several teams here at Bungie to create our diversity and inclusion pin series for the Bungie store entitled Everyone Can Play. An emblem of the same name will also be included. Beautiful. Also, that is really cool, guys. Y'all remember that raid team? I think it was a raid squad. They were all deaf. They couldn't make any call outs or anything, right? And they ended up doing an entire raid together. Now, moving on. Grandmaster Nightfalls is starting next week. Grandmaster difficulty is unlocking for our Nightfalls. First of this season, you'll be going down into the hollow lair to face off against the Fanatic and his horde of Scorn. Be careful. Dead Thing, as the Scorn have recently discovered ways to wield stasis. Things might get a little icy out there. If this is your first go in the realm of Grandmaster difficulty, the power bar is set high for this aspirational activity. Make sure you have those numbers pumped up to 1345 to get started. Trying to catch up? Snag some bounties, complete your seasonal challenges, and earn as many pinnacle power rewards as you can. Iron Man is all the rage this week, so make sure to complete all 4 pinnacle bounties before Lord Saladin packs up shop. Later in the season, we'll be making some changes to Grandmasters and their accessibility. We mentioned these changes in a previous TWAB, and upon rereading them, we realized it may have looked like these changes were going live in tandem with Grandmasters becoming available this season. Apologies if we caused any confusion, but the following changes are coming in an update currently planned for December. Here's a quick recap of what's coming. The Grandmaster catch-up note will become available at the same time Grandmaster difficulty is available, so long as you have the Conqueror title but have not yet gilded it this season. Grandmasters will have already gone live by the time this change comes later in the season, but the catch-up note will be available when Grandmasters first start in the seasons going forward. Each Grandmaster Nightfall will be available if the fire team leader has not completed the Gilded Triumph for that strike during the season. In other words, you may play each featured strike for a season to earn your gilded title. Once you've gilded your title, the catch-up note will no longer be available. In terms of loot, there aren't any major changes happening. Completing Grandmaster Nightfalls gives you a chance to earn adept variants of Nightfall specific weapons, such as Palindrome Hand Cannon or the newly released Hothead Rocket Launcher. Players may also earn enhancement cores, prisms, ascended shards for their efforts. We recently made the change where adept weapon mods for impact, charge time, and blast radius and projectile speed can now be acquired from Grandmaster Nightfalls in addition to Trials of Osiris and the raids. Good luck out there, Guardians. Fire team up and take on the darkness. Don't feel shame if you need some guidance, mind you. There are plenty of creators throughout our community that are eager to provide tips, tricks, and in-depth guides to help you on your way to the Conqueror title. Alright, so everything that they listed about the Grandmaster updates is not coming until December. Oh, see, I thought that was coming when Grandmaster launches. Well, alright then. So we're only going to do one Grandmaster next week. Regardless, Hollow Lair, we'll see how that goes. I got a couple builds in mind. Now, as a final note here from Cosmo, what a week. The fashion game is strong, Iron Man and bounties are live, and the Season of the Lost narrative is zigging, zagging, and tugging at the heartstrings. We also shared an update from our CEO, Pete Parsons, on our continued efforts to improve diversity and inclusion within our company and the industry. We have been far from perfect in these areas, and you can read about our commitment to be better going forward here. We hope you are doing well wherever you are. Have a great week both in and out of the game. Love, Cosmo. All right, guys, that is your TWAB this week. We've been on the grind, fellas. On the grind. I'm actually trying to get to the end of New World's in-game, like all the way level 60 max. I want to see it. I want to be able to tell you whether or not that game is worth doing or not. Regardless though, the best fire team in NA will be all over that Grandmaster Nightfall next Tuesday. Guys, if you're interested in watching any of our streams, come by our Twitch. We'll be streaming all weekend long, so come hang out with us. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.